SINCA, sharing innovative and creative actions. That's for you. I want to start off the new year with the very important and critical topic, that is data, information, and media. How many of you do tweet or Facebook or Line? So it looks like who doesn't? Okay, so everybody is involved in the social media. Okay.
Hi, my name is Miyuki, Inoue, working with the Asahi newspaper digital innovation section. And the digital innovation section is originally the business section. But what I'm doing is the editorial section. So it's very weird and rare part in my company. Only one place, the editorial section inside business.
You spent some time in the US, right?
Right, the Washington Post was bought by Bezos. Yes, August, the beginning of August. So two weeks later of that, I got a phone call from the boss. You should go to New York to report, to research what's going on in the U.S. media. So I was assigned in New York for 1 year, and then research the startups media, including BuzzFeed in New York.
I started off with Reuters, the news agency, and I was with them for 18 years maybe? I'm losing track. And then I moved to the Wall Street Journal right after the big earthquake in 2011. So I've been with them close to 7 years now. Most of my time in journalism has been, I've been writing in English. I did spend a bit of time, also 3 years at Reuters, at the end of my career at Reuters, sort of curating their Japanese site, and I wanted to go back to the field, so I moved to the journal, and then it's been going back and forth. But 4 years ago, I moved again to the journal's Japanese website. So what I do now is I'm in charge of the Japanese language website that we have. It's web only, and our mission is to basically pick and choose what we think our Japanese readers would like, and we translate the original English journal stories into Japanese. In a nutshell, it's how we differentiate ourselves from Japanese media, including Asahi Shimbun, because we think that the Japanese media is very good, even at their coverage of international news. So we need to go beyond them, or provide something different from what the Japanese media provide.
Do you still trust the media, or do you go to other places, or do you sort of focus on certain social media? I mean, these are the kinds of things that we are quite interested in.
One of the things that I wanted to ask was like, how many people, the first thing they do is, when they wake up, they would go to their smartphone, and what do you check? Do you check Twitter? Do you check maybe Facebook? And what do you see there? It's news. Just by default of the way that we live in, I think more people are consuming news other than from, at least not from news outlets directly, but from other, by other means, and especially by somebody that one of your friends or one of your followers sharing the news.
And if you just take a look at a tweet or something, which lists all the headlines, that sort of shapes your day.
Twitter or whatever.
People don't go to their own website, go to the platform, and then people basically don't care what the source is.
And the fake news, it used to be pretty clearly this is a fake news, but now it's getting much smarter, getting very difficult to figure out, to distinguish fact from the fake news. How do we respond?
Actually, fake news is like a virus. in the air, everywhere. And also, it is not from not the present moment. From the ancient time, fake news is all over the world, covered. But I think to eliminate to distinguish what is the fake news or not is depending on our own skill, I think. How to consume the information. The skill is only the soul to distinguish, I think.
I think that's media literacy.
Media literacy,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. George, tell us a little bit about how you assess the media literacy in Japan.
Before, I think you would have in Japanese you say kaibunsho, these bogus aimed to, let's say, hurt somebody's reputation, let's say during an election. That's been around for ages, but it was very clear that it was fake and it was made by somebody with bad intentions. Now it's very difficult to distinguish that, and we are now even one of the latest sort of topics and concerns that we have in terms of fake news is actually fake video. Maybe you've seen this, but there's technology to make it look as though, President Trump said something, and it's his footage, and it's his mouth moving, but you really need to watch closely, and sometimes even there may be not, a regular person won't be able to distinguish whether it's true or not. So we are at that level. So you have to look at everything. Basically, look at it, you don't take anything for granted. And the other important thing, I think, is, as she said, it's a virus, and virus, how it spreads. So we need to make sure that we don't spread it ourselves. And what that means is you don't share something so too casually. You look at it and say, wow, this is cool, I'm going to share it with my friends, or I'm going to like it. That is the act of, that's what we really need to stop. When you're going to hit that button, think twice and, take a deep breath and say, wait a minute, is this really true? Because I'm going to be, responsible for this. I am actually contributing to the spread of this virus. So that's one thing that we should all have in mind.
Media literacy is not the special thing. I think the media literacy is to try to get to know what is the fact from our viewpoint. This is the thing. So, every information through media is already not the objective. The Asahi newspaper is not the objective information. Already the bias by the Asahi newspaper's reporters, editors viewpoint. So we have to eliminate those viewpoints and try to get the fact. This attitude is important. This is a way to get the media literacy, I think.
Let's go to this slide. You have some of the slides. We hear that the fake news and the media, social media and other things may have the power to even influence the election.
This is a result of a Gallup poll in the US, and it's pretty simple, straightforward. It goes to show you the trust that the American public has in traditional media, and it's at an all-time low at 32%. That was meant to sort of give a picture of the US, and then comes in the social media, and this is some of the slides from here goes to show the frequency and how popular social media is in the US, how much the percentage of people who use social media to get news. And this is, I think this is about the various platforms, and at least back in 2017 in the US, Facebook was very big. That 45% is it of people get news, adults get news via Facebook. So this is a bit different from Japan because I think Facebook usage here is much lower than the US.
Okay, let's get into a little bit of discussion among yourselves and any one of the subjects. But what I would like you to focus on is that what are you going to do tomorrow?
How do we get information?
I think this is a very difficult topic, and we can take any perspective, and they're just so broad, and so many things that we can discuss. So I think that's part of the reason why today's world is in turmoil. And I think that is what we are in a way. So how far do we want to go? And how much do we want to make sure that we verify before we click to retweet or post? I think that's our decision. And in a way, we have to sort of try and error. Otherwise, we can never get there. So I think it's still a very long journey to speak up. But at the same time, as our guests mentioned, that it's good that we discuss these things rather than avoiding. This is too complicated, too much, and we can't do anything about it, so let's forget about it. So I think it's good that we talk about the media literacy. It's good to discuss how do we distinguish fact from, fake news, so forth. But this is just the beginning, and I hope that you will think a little bit. This triggers your thinking a little bit more. KOTOHIRA!